Thank you so much. And share my screen. And first things first, thank you so much for being here. We are super happy to have all of you in this new application process. It is literally our job and our pleasure to um, work with all of you in this new application process. So thank you so much for being here. Saying that, please edit your Zoom name to include your pronouns if you want us to be uh, aware of your pronouns. It will allow me to see your pronouns the moment that you want to make questions or anything. Please keep mute yourself where others are speaking, especially while the Techtonica staff is speaking. We will have a QA session at the end of the session, QA space at the end of the session, sorry. And you can ask us several things about it, so you can take note of your questions for that moment. If you feel comfortable, turn on your cameras, especially if you are asking us.
Well, you know me, so
If you are asking us question, thank you so much for muting yourself. We will have a moment of doing a screenshot, and I will ask all of you to turn on your cameras at that moment, and especially if you feel comfortable. We are recording this session, and we will have a screenshot. We are recording this session because we will share it on YouTube. So if you know people that is interested in the program, but they cannot make it to the session, feel free to share the link later of YouTube and follow us on our YouTube channel, techtonica.org there too. Okay, thank you so much for being here. It's 6 minutes by the hour, so I think we can start. A little agenda for tonight. First, welcome and thank you so much again for being here. I'm in the East Coast, so I know that is a little late for people that is in the East Coast. Thank you so much for folks in the East Coast to be here so late to help on us. We have people all over the US now, and we are super happy to see all your faces. And oh my God, I can't believe that we still have more and more people coming. I will do a little introduction of the Techtonica stuff.
so many
Please,
belts.
please mute yourself where others are talking. Thank you so much. Please note that Techtonica staff is just 4 people. Half of the staff is here tonight in this call. So we are 2 of them are here. We are here to help you with questions. And we have one of our graduates also, Camille, and she will talk to you at the end of the session. And she will talk a little about her experience during the program and during the placement period. And then we will have the space for QA at the end of the session. With that agenda, let's start with our code of conduct. Techtonica is dedicated to providing a safe, inclusive, welcoming, and harassment-free space and experience for all members and guests, regardless of gender identity and expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, socioeconomic status, body size, ethnicity, nationality, level of experience, age of religion, or the lack of thereof. Please mute yourself while others are speaking. Thank you so much. Our code of conduct exists because of that dedication. We don't tolerate harassment in any form, and we prioritize marginalized people's safety over privileged people's comfort. Our full code of conduct can be found at techtonica.org/conduct. Okay, thank you so much for that. And after our code of conduct, let me introduce the first person on our staff that is here, or more recent team member or software engineer manager, basically my boss. She's Daima Tiveri, and she's here. I think, Daima, you want to say hello?
Hey everybody, I'm also a past participant. I graduated back in 2019, and now I have the pleasure of getting to work with each cohort. Hi, everybody.
Awesome. And we have the pleasure of working with you, which is amazing. Okay, our second staff is Michelle Glauser. She's our CEO, and you probably know about her, and I had seen in other events of Techtonica. We are very proud of Michelle. We have Amanda Rice. She's our partnership manager. Amanda is in charge of contact our partnership companies and find placement and partnership opportunities with companies. And if you're here, you probably have my email. My name is Cristina Rodriguez. My programs are she, her, ella, and the technical project manager of Techtonica. And I'm here because I'm passionate to help people to learn how to code. And that's part of the mission of Techtonica. Our mission is help women and non-binary adults overcome barriers into the tech industry. These are social media if you want to follow us. A little note about questions. I told you that will be a QA space at the end of this session, and it will be that please consider that we are now 60 people in this Zoom. So don't ask me very personal questions. If you have very personal questions, here is my email. Please don't hesitate to send me an email. Also, we will try to not answer questions that can be explained, that are being explained in the program. So please read the full description of our program in our website, techtonica.org/full full-time program. And with that, we can all respect the time of other people because we only have 2 hours for this session. Saying that, let's talk a little about the full-time program. So our program is actually for a year. You will have 6 months of learning, completely virtual. You will learn the whole full stack on JavaScript. Probably don't know this yet, but I'm here to tell you JavaScript is the only programming language that talks to the browser. So if you want to do something with web, you need to learn JavaScript. Now, the cool thing about that is that you can learn JavaScript for the backend too with a software that is called Node. So you will learn JavaScript in the backend with Node, in the front end with React. You will learn Postgres and how to do tests and the whole ecosystem full time. And then after that 6 months of learning, which are very intensive and super pack of information, you will have 6 months or placement with one of our partnership companies or job search support. I want to be very transparent with all of you. We believe in transparent. In this core, we don't have yet a placement for the participants, so we will have job support for each of them because the placement is not guaranteed. We work very hard to make that happen, and we have a manager partnership making that happen, but we cannot guarantee that you will have a placement. And if you don't have a placement, we will support you on your job search. Please note that. What is our target audience? When Michelle created this company on 2017, she will later correct me if I'm wrong. She realized that underrepresented group are the people that have more barriers to enter the tech industry. So our target audience is Black, Latins, and indigenous women and non-binary adults with no age cutoff that are seeking economic empowerment. We realize, and Michelle is the first person that will tell you this one because it's true. Once you get into a job in the tech industry, your salary will triplicate. That's it. That's as immediately as that. Now, the thing is that finding that first job is a big barrier, and we know, and that's the reason we work very hard to find those placements with our partners company. It's just that it's not at any moment a guarantee, because the tech industry landscape is the tech industry landscape, and we don't control that thing, unfortunately. I wish that we could control that thing. Basically, we believe that the people in most danger of displacement and most underrepresented in tech is the people that needs to be in tech. We believe that the tech industry needs all of you, because you are the diversity that needs to be. Why we are free? Well, because we don't believe in putting into the unrepresented groups the barrier of the money. The money should be come from the companies because they have the money. All of us on the underrepresented group already have enough barriers at itself. We don't need the extra barrier of the money. So instead of asking money for our participants, we ask money for our partners company. And that's the reason, if you're accepted, we call this a scholarship. Because you will get free training for 6 months and later free job support for another 6 months. That could be our promise. Saying that, we believe in the community impact. All of us are part of underrepresented groups, and we believe that if company invests in junior talent and stop poaching seniors, they can have elevate the displacement and the income disparity on the tech industry. And the tech industry needs the diversity. There is stats and there is news that prove that the more diversity is a team, the better performs. And we believe in that. Let me talk now a little about our application process. If you are here, you are interested in our application process, we will always have 2 application processes in the year. One that it goes on April for May, and this one that we are living right now that goes from September to October. So our own requirement is the 113 exercise on JavaScript that are in the free code camp. You need to do those exercises. And I can tell you, I did it once and I focused 8 hours. Like, I sit on my computer for 8 hours and did the whole 113. I realized that I'm talking from the privilege. Nobody has 8 hours free to do this. But then you can pace yourself. If it took me 8 hours doing from scratch, you know that it will take you like 2 weeks to finish the 113 exercise. So prepare yourself, because the deadline is September 18 for that one. We have a short application form that is just to tell us if you are interested. And then we have a long application. And when I tell you long, we are not exaggerating. We are just describing the application form because it's long. It's very, very, very long. The last time I count, we have like 70 questions in that long application. So the form itself, it will take you like 8 hours. Another week there to fill the form. And we have a lot of questions for you. And we read it. I can tell you, I read your answers and we later ask you about your answers. So please be aware of making that long application. Now we know there is a lot to ask for you. So for help you to prepare, we have every Tuesday during the application process study groups on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 Pacific time. Yesterday we have one. It will go until September 19. So our deadline will be on September 18. The last application study group will be September 19. And please be aware that once you submit the long application, you need to come to one of those study groups. Once you submit the long application, it's mandatory that I saw you in one study group. That is a change. Then we review all our application forms and the people that is accepted in the application process after the deadline, it means September 19, we will invite you to do one of our mandatory application workshops. We divide that in 2 time zones. So there will be an option from people to 6 to 9 p.m. And there will be an option for people to from 3 to 5 p.m. Just because we know that there is a lot of people in the East Coast. I am in the East Coast at this moment. And there is a bunch of people that is working part-time already, and that the 3 to 5 time doesn't work really well. So we have 2 options. You just need to come to one of them. Please don't come to both of them. But you need to come to one of them. It's mandatory. Then you will do pair programming with me. Hello, I'm the problem. I'm the pair programming person again. And then if you pass that pair programming with me, you will invited to take a home code challenge. And if you pass that, please notice that on every step we can let people go of the application process. If you pass the last, that code challenge at home will be your last technical thing. The staff interviews and the board interviews will be behavioral interviews with the staff members and or board members. And then we include here the financial conversations because we want to see if we can help you with little stipends. We have limited stipends for our participants. At no point it will help you with the whole of your finance. Usually help you to cover some part, your rent or your grocery list, your internet. Please notice that it's limited. It's at not point that you can, but we know that you probably will need help to focus 6 months only on learning. And we know because we are super intensive and we will ask you to work for 10 hours a day in the program that you cannot work part-time while you are doing Techtonica. And with that, what happens if you are accepted? You will receive our agreement and the information about the stipend. And at that point, only at that point, you tell us if we are a good match for you. Please notice that it could happen that we are not a good match for you, and Daima will talk a little after that. We have limited MacBooks for people that need a MacBook to work. You will have something that we call onboarding day, which is the day that you get to know your core, is matching with your mentor, and we take a bunch of pictures and celebrate because it's a fun day. And then you receive something that we call pre-work, which is very intensive because we need to make sure that you are in the basic level of JavaScript. It's at this point that we'll ask you that you know very well how to work with arrays, how to work with objects, and how to work with basic data structures on JavaScript. So prepare for that pre-work because you will probably work on December. You are the group that will start on January 2024. So part of your December vacations holidays will be doing pre-work, and it's mandatory. I will check that you do things week by week. Saying that, some dates to remember to this application process. So the deadline is September 18 at noon Pacific time. All the times that you are seeing in this presentation are Pacific time. We have study groups every Tuesday until September 19. And again, once you submit your long form, you must attend one study group. I need to see you in the study group. It's in your own benefit because it's where you can practice how to do pair programming. And later you will do pair programming with me. So you want to be on those sessions just to practice. After the deadline, we will have invite-only application workshops. This will be on October 3rd at 6 from 9 p.m. or on October 5 from 3 to 6 p.m. Those are the dates, and that will divide our candidates or participants in 2 groups. So now you will have pair programming with me according with the group where you are from October 10 to 12. I I will divide my calendar and I will invite you to session. It will be only 30 minutes. So we will try to make it that work. And then because now you are separate in 3 groups, because I have 3 days to pair programming with all of you, you will have 48 hours to do the code challenge at home, according with the day that you did pair programming with me. So if you did pair programming with me on Monday, you have to send your code challenge on Wednesday. If you did the pair programming with me on Wednesday, you have to send the code challenge on Friday. Just count 48 hours after your pair programming. The staff and board interviews will be from the week of October 16 to October 20. We don't control the schedule of our board members, so that hours could vary, but you will receive invitations and calendar invites with several options, and you are free to select the one that works better for you. The acceptance emails will go on October 31st because it's Halloween, people, and all September is basically Halloween Eve. We believe in that. So you will receive your acceptance as a gift from Halloween. And then you will have on onboarding day. If you accept our invitation, you will have your onboarding day on November 14th. That day, it has to be on this date because we have mentors and they all are working. So it has to be after 6 p.m. and you know your mentors there. So it will be a little late for people in this course, but sacrifice. And then you have pre-work from your acceptance to that from November 20 to January 18. That will be the first day of the next cohort. So you will be doing pre-work the last 2 weeks of November, the whole December, and 2 weeks of January. And we count the space between Christmas and New Year as pause of the program. So you will not have staff or program or works on those 2 weeks. Saying that, please remember that our only requirement is the 100 free code camp lessons on basic JavaScript. I put 12 hours because it took me 8 hours, but I was super focused and I didn't start up of my computer, and nobody has that time. Be ready to upload the whole screenshot. It should be something like this with all the check marks of all the lessons that you did it. And if you feel that is a little overwhelmed, we'll have study groups to help you. We work on groups on this 113 exercise and basics of JavaScript. So come to our study groups, are free and are welcoming, and it's actually very funny. I'm looking forward to every Tuesday. Okay, this is the last slide that you will hear me talk. I promise. What are the characteristics of the folks that we are looking for in this application process? We need people with a lot of resilience. We don't have lectures, so you are doing the hard work for yourself. You are learning by yourself. So you need to have that sweet combination of vulnerability that allows you to say, hey, I don't understand this thing, and resilience that allows you to say, but I'm searching these and these resources. Can you help me? You need that sweet combination, and I hope that is in all of you. You will need to have a lot of autonomy because you are working by yourself. We are completely virtual and we don't have lectures. So at the beginning of the day, we give you the objectives for the day, and we really hope that you are working on that. You need to have coachability because we are basically that. Like, my job is being your coach. I'm not your teacher. I'm not teaching you anything. I'm not doing lecture. I'm trying to coach you and help you to find resources and be in your corner and be the person that say you can do and you can learn this one. Believe me, there is nothing inherent in code that prevents that you learn, but the hard work of learning, that it comes from you. And then you need to have the sweet combination again of positivity and adaptability. Code is changing all the time. Package go deprecate, new things come to the ecosystem, things change, people get sick, volunteers get busy and change their schedule. Things like that happen all the time, and you need to have the adaptability of say, okay, let me find a plan B, a plan C, let me communicate this problem, this barrier, this blocker, and let's see what I can do. And then we believe in collaboration. We don't believe on the idea of a programmer working on itself in his computer and not doing anything of communicate. That is not how you will learn. You will learn with a group. You will work on pair programming. We are huge believing of pair programming. We believe in collaboration. And you need to have curiosity because that is software engineer, how I solve this problem, how I can find a solution for this problem. And we will teach you a lot of the logic of how to solve this problem and how you can divide the problem on little steps and try to organize that in instructions, which is basically an algorithm. But you need to have that logic that tells you, yeah, I can separate everything in little instructions. And with that, I will give the floor to Dane.
Hey everybody, let's talk about what happens in the program day to day. So we are based on Pacific time, 8 to 5 p.m. It's a rigorous program. Sometimes there's variation to that with instances such as tonight. We'll have events, org-wide events, workshops, things like that. But for the most part, it's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, Pacific time. We do have participants that are across the United States, and so maybe they have to adjust their schedules to adhere to that schedule, but we are Pacific time. So we are a project-based collaborative learning full stack environment. You'll be learning JavaScript, React, Node. We also have events with mentors and volunteers. So you have a good working support system to kind of make sure that you're filling the gaps, knowledge gaps, that making sure that you're feeling supported. If you have questions as you learn autonomously throughout the program. And we provide learning resources. So we kind of give you guidance of what you should be looking at and kind of prepare you to hone those skills to be able to learn on the job, just like you would as a software developer. Throughout the program, we have something called knowledge checks. And so that's just to kind of get a pulse on if you're soaking up that information well, if you're really understanding what it is that you're spending time with. We also have mock interviews just to check on how your understanding of the technical languages, how you're able to present yourself, transitioning into corporate America or similar environments within the tech community. And then we also have daily technical quizzes, again, similar to the knowledge checks, but these are just kind of to get a pulse on the day-to-day, whereas the knowledge checks are a culmination of the week. We also have final projects that we do during month 4. And so that's kind of a big roundup of everything that you've learned. And then you kind of put all that into one project. And that's a full stack project that you'll be making. And from the very start of the program, we have interview practice. And so whether that's going over soft skills, whether that's going over technical skills, we really try to hone this interview practice along the way to make sure that you're prepared, whether you continue on with a prospective sponsor or if you would like to go to a different company. And studying for next steps during the last month, that's when you would prepare yourself to go on to that sponsor. So the last month, you are no longer learning, you're no longer building, you're specifically dialed in to getting ready for your sponsor placement. All right. So what the heck did I just say? Let's break that up a little bit. So basically, it's 2 months of learning. The first eight weeks are strictly learning technologies, making sure that you're getting acclimated to the syntax, making sure that you understand what to build, that you know where to find information. And then after that, you spend about a month and a half just building. You're just going to be building out full stack apps, 1 or 2 apps a week. For the next month and a half. And then after that, once you get a handle on really understanding those skills that you just kind of honed, you are going to build your final portfolio project. And that's the project that you'll be sharing towards the end of the program to all the sponsors. And then after you're done with that, then we figure out where you will be placed, or we begin your job search, depending on how many sponsors there are. And entirety of that program, we make sure to also kind of dial into the soft skills. Often apprenticeship programs or boot camps or the like, they really don't lean into the soft skills, and that really makes or breaks the difference of a really good developer versus someone that's less so. So dialing in further, we're just getting further into that calendar, right? So the day-to-day, what happens each day? You start with a stand-up, and that's usually led by one of the participants. We really want to hone into those soft skills. So we're going to try to get you going by talking with some motivation, kind of leading a meeting, really understanding those leadership skills, as well as those organizational skills, kind of leading the charge, helping other people to stay organized throughout the day. And then after the stand-up, you are given a code challenge. And then you work either by yourself on that code challenge or with your pair group. So you always have a buddy or a partner, someone that you can check in with. And then you have some check-ins with staff. So you might have a one-on-one conversation with myself or Christina, just to kind of get a pulse on if you need any assistance, any additional support. And then there's a pair programming session, and that's usually thematic. Maybe we want you to learn a particular topic during that block of time that will tie back in to all the tasks that you had for that day. And that'll really tie the day together. And then we have wrap up. We come together, talk about what we learned, ask questions, get a pulse on, how people are feeling. Do we need extra time with a topic, or are we good to keep on going? And maybe you'll have mentoring after that. We'll talk more about that later. So we're going to continue dialing in. We're really narrowing it in. So the daily schedule kind of looks like this. First 45 minutes is stand up. Another roundabout, you'll be doing your code challenge as you're alone by yourself, kind of really making sure that you're utilizing those problem solving skills. And then you'll come back to the group, and then you'll ask any questions. Maybe you got stuck on something. Maybe you looked up the solution and you didn't really understand it. Then you'll move back over to, for the most part of the day, working autonomously alone. And you can pair that however you want. Maybe you're breaking up the day, meeting with your mentor to go over some questions. Maybe you're meeting with your buddy, and maybe you're just working by yourself, watching some YouTube videos, watching whatever resources we provided you. Maybe you're using a Slack huddle. Being resourceful and being able to navigate these resources individually, as well as being able to reach out, is very important, just as we mentioned with those key characteristics. Then later in the day, you'll go on over to your pair programming practice. Once you're done with that topic session, then you'll meet at wrap up. And so we really do have an expectation that everyone comes to the meetings. For the rest of the time, we expect, even when you're just kind of working by yourself, that you're reachable. This isn't something that we are assuming you'll be out working a job while you're offline and then you'll log back on after you're done working. We expect you to be available and accessible throughout the day from 8 to 5. There is some flexibility if you have like caregiving duties or the like, similar responsibilities. We want to make sure that you have that room to take care of those things, but we do want you to stay committed to the program. Mentoring. Okay, this is a highlight of the program. You all, if and when you are accepted to the program, you get paired with somebody that's in the industry, a professional whose heart is pumping to make sure that they are aligned with the mission. They're ready to make sure that you're trained up. They're ready to get you into corporate America or wherever you choose to work in a technical role. And they really, really are devoted to the mission of Techtonica. And so they dedicate their time to work with you individually. Some mentors also come about to just dedicate office hours. Maybe they have more than 2 hours a week to give. And so they really are a great resource to utilize. And we expect that you'll fully utilize it during the entirety of the program. They also follow you after the program while you're interning or job searching. So they are your best pals for a long time. All right, let's get into it. Some things to consider. It is very possible that you can be removed from the program at any given time. Some of the things that determine our ability to remove or to stay in the program are consistency with the following things: coming to meetings, attending your meetings, collaborating with others. You're able to work with your buddy, you're able to work with your mentor, you're able to work with other volunteers. You're able to give, receive, and implement feedback to and from staff and peers. So maybe we've highlighted something that we thought you could improve upon, and other people have given you the similar feedback. And so we want to really hone into the growth mindset that you're able to be a better you, as well as your peers working around you. Being able to focus, maintain attention, and engage participating during meetings. So not just showing up, having your camera on and watching, but you're actually asking questions, you're offering details, learnings, and then also the capacity to keep up with the curriculum. It's very, very fast paced. And so communicating when you need help is very important. In this program, if you are not asking questions, you will most likely not do well. So you'll have to communicate if you are kind of falling behind and make sure that you're able to keep up with that curriculum. And then again, those knowledge checks and technical questions, making sure that you're doing those and able to perform well on them. And then also being open to talk about yourself with the staff, about how you're doing. We really believe in transparency and having candid communication. We work with each individual holistically to make sure that we can accommodate where we're able to. And so being able to have candid conversations about whatever's going on is super helpful. There's potential financial consequences if you were to quit the commitment or being cut from the program. So if and when you decide to accept an offer that's handed to you, make sure you read your agreement before committing to this long-term career path. And things to consider. We don't do lectures. I am not a teacher. I don't have certifications in teaching people. Now that's to say, we also will be leading conversations. So we're not going to just hand the information to you. We're going to have conversations, make sure that you're dialed in and learning. You'll need to be able to motivate yourself, follow the rules, pair with others, do the assignments honestly without copy and pasting, and to the best of your ability without guidance. So to make sure you really, really are soaking in that information, that you're understanding the pieces of information that you're learning, that you're being guided towards, and constantly collaborating. We're going to keep saying that throughout this whole session. So get dialed into that. Collaboration is key. we found that when you have there's a strong correlation between the people in the program who are open and have candid communication, who are able to be frank and, give open discussions about feelings, about how they're doing emotionally, physically. They have a strong correlation of doing well. And this is an environment that we definitely promote. We promote that open, frank discussion. So if that is something that you're not into, this may not be the space for you. Let's see. Yeah. So thank you. All right. So stipends. A lot of people come into this space and they're like, oh yeah, let's get paid to learn. Which is exciting. That's a heck of an opportunity, but not everyone will receive a stipend. We have financial conversations with everyone to determine if they qualify for a stipend. And that's usually the last end of the application process. So there has to be a need for a stipend to begin with. That is often something that leads the conversation. However, that's not taken into consideration for program acceptance. Those are kind of separate decisions. So whether you need a stipend or not is not going to affect your ability to get in the program. The maximum stipend amount is based on location, situation, and funding available, and is usually between $1,500 to $2,500 a month based on situation. And Christina just threw something in the chat as well relative to that. There are limited placements. Our sponsor companies typically offer 6-month remote paid placements to our graduates. The role that is categorized are typically internships, apprenticeships, a regular employment offer, but it's generally up to the sponsor. That's what we call all the companies that we work with. It's up to them what they would categorize you as. The start dates for placements are coordinated with your manager. So at the end of the program, when you're getting ready to prepare to go over to the sponsor, it typically takes a few weeks in between for you to get started working in your placement after graduation. About 75% of the graduates are converted to full-time, and we have conversations of how to talk to employers, how to kind of facilitate those relationships to make the most out of potentially being extended an offer as a full-time employee. And we're constantly working to find placements for each next cohort. But like Christina said before, there's no guarantee whatsoever. Just given the climate of tech these days. But we usually do accept 15 to 20 people. So if we have no placements whatsoever for those 15 to 20 people, we will be helping those 15 to 20 people get jobs or look for jobs or network or brush up on their problem-solving skills. Again, if you graduate from this program, you will receive job search support. Application questions. References will be contacted a couple weeks after the application deadline. We'll send them a link in a Google form, and any email references will not be read. You'll be informed by email if you made it to the next round. The sign up for the study groups are on our Eventbrite page. And if the income calculator does not account for the number of dependents you have, please see the difference in the amount of second to last number of dependents to the last. So if you have dependents, please make sure you're paying attention to that. You got to put an explanation and all that good stuff. We recommend to make a copy of the questions and answers in your doc. So put it in a separate space before filling out the form. computers can do what they want sometimes. Sometimes they just glitch and then you lose all your stuff. So try to keep it in a separate space, especially if you're doing that long form. That way you have it saved in a separate area. If the form decides to do its own thing, that way you're covered. All right. Personalized support needs communications. I'm gonna constantly talk about collaboration and being open and candid. We really, really, really want to help. If you have any specific circumstance that comes about, please communicate, whether it be during the application process that prevented you from getting things in on time, communicate that. Whether it be once you get into the program, please communicate that. We have applicants that have had they've had a broken laptop and we had to get something to them. They've had pregnancies and we had to adjust. They've had abuse, people losing housing. And so just being open about your situation will help us be able to pivot and give you the support that you need so that you can stay focused and stay the course, as opposed to half-heartedly committing to the program while you're silently going through whatever obstacle you're facing. So being candid about that is super helpful. These are some of our past distinguished sponsors and the companies that we have also partnered with. And they are alongside our mission. All right, things to consider. Seriously think about this application process as well as this program. Don't get discouraged if you don't get in the first time. There's a lot of people applying. Our application acceptance rate has moved down from 8%. It's very, very, very competitive. The new cohorts start in January and July. So you're welcome to apply again. I think we have a max of 3 times. Yep, says it right there, max 3 times that you can reapply. And we have Slack communities that you can join. I believe it's like a pre-applicant Slack community. And so staying rooted in those communities, making sure that you're brushing up on those skills, staying in the Techtonica ecosystem is really a great way to hone those skills that we talked about, those characteristics that Christina was leaning into, to make sure that you'll have an opportunity in the future. Applications are open until October 10th at noon. All right, I'm passing it over to Camille.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So yeah, my name's Camille. I am a recent graduate of Techtonica. I was in the program that started up in January. As you might have seen by my slide there, I use she and they pronouns, so feel free to use either if you were ever referring to me. So I am based in the East Coast. I live in Philadelphia. I moved to Philly about 8 years ago when I decided to join a nonprofit organization called City Year. And when I got into that program, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, but I found myself taken by the education nonprofit world, and I stayed in that field for about 7.5 years until I decided that I wanted to move into tech, for a variety of reasons, which you can feel free to ask me about, but I won't really go into it right now. But I ended up quitting the job that I had last August with the intent to pursue training and getting a career in tech, right? And I had been doing sort of a self-paced boot camp online in about March of last year, and ended up having to drop off from that so that I could focus on my full-time job. And then I took I quit my job. I took a couple months to just sort of reset myself, and then I learned about Techtonica, about the program, learned that the applications were opening, and thought I had missed the deadline, but I had a couple days. So I very quickly got through all of my 113 free code camp assignments, filled out the application, and made it all the way through the process, which as they have mentioned, it is very long, it's very extensive. It is honestly one of the more rigorous interview processes I've ever been a part of. At the time, it was there were 2 workshops that we had to go to, and at each workshop you would be in a breakout room, 2 to 3 breakout rooms with other applicants, and then the applicants would rate each other, and the volunteers, there would be a volunteer in the room, and the volunteer would also rate you based on how you were like collaborating with the people in the room, not really like on your code knowledge. And then if you made it through that first workshop, you got to the second workshop and you do that process again, and then you have a code pair programming with Christina, then you have like a bunch of code challenges that you do on your own, and then an interview with I think it would be Daima now, but it was Sarah at the time when I was there, and then an interview with a board member. And so there was just a lot of steps, and I was never like, I never faltered in gratitude for the fact that I made it through those steps and got into Techtonica to this day. It has put me in the position that I'm in right now. So I went through the program, made a lot of friends, learned a lot. I think everything that they have spoken thus far is exactly what you should expect. They warned everybody when we were going through the application process, and I think a part of it was to sort of like, you know, really mentally prepare you. Like, this is a tough program. There is a lot of expectations. You cannot work a part-time job. This is going to be your life for 6 months. And I say this as somebody who thrives on social interactions. I've made a point to like try to balance that so that I could still have a life outside of Techtonica, and that was really, really hard. So I had to stop for that for a while and focus completely on Techtonica and take a couple weekends off from hanging out with my friends. But basically, I say all that to say, like, they are telling you the truth when they say that this is a difficult program, but it is absolutely worth it. And I know that right now, they don't have companies that are partnering with them to get the cohort members hired. But the skills that you learn while you're in this program are pretty much invaluable, because you can learn like the code, you can learn the language outside of Techtonica, right? Like, you can go on the internet and YouTube and find this information. They have their whole curriculum on GitHub. Like, you can do this all on your own. But the piece for me that I found to be the most valuable was working with other people, working alongside people who were learning at the same pace as I was, and having just sort of a home base to come to. So I know that meetings aren't really everybody's jam, but for me, I love working with people. I love being able to like talk to folks. And so we had our stand-ups in the morning, we had our wrap-ups in the evening, and for me that was like a good sort of way to sort of solidify my day and understand like what was going on, because it is quite an overwhelming process, right? So I think, I'm currently working as a software developer engineer in test at Sony Interactive Entertainment, which is it's wild. Like, whenever I tell people that I work for Sony, they either make a joke like, "Oh, Sony, you've never heard of it, wow," or they're like, "Wow, you work for Sony, that's wild." And I think that's a very fun experience to have. But am I will say that one thing Techtonica does tell you, and that you want to prepare for, is to not just be learning JavaScript, but like learn how you learn, so that you can take that knowledge and understanding of how you learn to your next job. Because right now at Sony, I'm not using JavaScript at all. I'm using Java and I'm using Python. And I think that those are languages that once you know a certain language like JavaScript, it's very easy to begin to understand those other languages. But I think what's more important is just learning how you learn things, so that you're able to approach a job with a language that you have never learned before, and be able to start to translate the way that you learn into that, and move a little bit quicker through the work that they're going to start assigning you. Let me see. Yeah, I don't really know if there's anything else in particular that you all would like me to cover, but I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you want to give me a prompt or something, that would be cool.
Thank you so much, Camille. I love to hear you talk as always, and it's so nice to have you. Before we enter the QA, let's not forget to take the screenshot. So if you feel comfortable, please turn on your camera at this moment. I will take a screenshot and celebrate that we still have 54 people here in the call with us. Thank you so much for doing it. Stick to a screenshot. One, just smile to the camera, and on my tree, 1, 2, 3. And let's take one celebrating. So say hello or celebrate, and I will take the screenshot. Hello. Thank you so much for doing that. And with this, we have the QA session of the meeting. So please raise your hand on the Zoom reactions button. If you see the button of the Zoom, you will see a little option for reactions. If you click in that reactions, you will see the raise your hand. So we can call your name and your pronouns when you are asking the question. Remember that if the question is answered in our website, we will direct you to the website and we'll tell you that information is in this part of the website. Other than that, if you have questions, please let me know. And that includes questions for Camille, of course. So please raise your hand and let's talk about this application process. And Caitlin, you are our first one.
Hi. I was wondering what y'all's stance on using ChatGPT as a resource is. I mean, obviously not like copy pasting, but in terms of like helping with bugs and that sort of thing.
Emma, you want to take that one or should I?
Yes. So I encourage utilizing all resources to learn. If you have a question, I think when I was working at SurveyMonkey, 30% of my job was Googling stuff. So if ChatGPT gets you the answer quicker, go for it. If you mean by way of writing your code for you, well, are you learning if you do that? So using it as a resource, yes. Using it to write your answers to questions, probably not in this program.
Yes, thank you so much. Lucy, you're next.
Oh, hello, my name is Lucy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just had a question regarding to, I notified there is one-to-one pairing with staff. Is that happen after the application workshop or it is just like probably before? Or
Is before. Sorry, it's after.
it's
So
after.
the first thing, if you, after the deadline, we will meet, the Techtonica staff meet, and we read all the applications and we decide who is invited to the next. And that next step after the deadline is a mandatory workshop where we check your communication style and if you can talk about your code, which is something that people that is self-learning and that is working by themselves pretty much never does, but it's super important in your software engineer career. Another reason that I encourage you to come to the Tuesday study night. And then you will do, if you pass that workshop, you will be invited to the pair programming session with me. That's one of the one-on-ones. And then if you pass the code challenge take at home, you will be invited to have one-on-ones with staff members and board members, but those are behavioral interviews, not technical interviews. That clarify your questions?
Yeah, that definitely clarify my questions. So basically, do you know, like I wasn't sure whether you guys talking about whether when we'll us get the result of whether our application being passed or not.
I told you in this that the acceptance letter, the final acceptance letter will be, let me check the dates to remember. Acceptance emails will go October 31st, Halloween, of course.
October 30th. Okay.
How I done.
But the mandatory application workshop is on October 3rd and October 5th. So
Yeah, it will take us a month to do the round of interviews and stuff like that.
also, I mean, just like when do you, so is everyone actually submits a loan application or gets this mandatory application workshop, or it is not?
No, not everybody. We can code people according with our requirements. And you
So
will have the
Mhm.
eligibility requirements in our website.
Okay, so regarding to like the after the loan application, do you know like when it's the last day we'll receive whether we can go into next step or not?
Exactly. You will
Yeah.
always receiving an email letting you know if you move to the next step or if you are being in the cutoff of that process.
Oh, okay, I see. So do you know like what the last day we're going to notify that, or you guys not sure until like, probably until October 3rd? Then you probably
Exactly. We don't know the dates very
Okay.
sure.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's all my
Yeah.
questions. Great.
Don't worry. Alison, you are next.
Hi, Christina. I just have a question about the application. So after submitting the long application, you said we have to attend one of the study groups. But if I went to the study groups before submitting the long application, does that also count or?
No, it doesn't count.
Okay.
The one that it comes, you are welcome as many study groups as you wanted. If you want to come to all of them, I actually encourage you to do that. But the only one that it will count is after you will be in the system for the long form application.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Andrea, you're next.
Hi. So this is a question for Camille. I'm curious to know how you felt the transition from Techtonica into Sunny. If you felt that it was equally intense, you felt very prepared, it's still super busy.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, with Sony in particular, they have a lot of like proprietary things that you need to get access to, right? And that took about 2 or 3 weeks. So while that was happening, I was doing a lot of just learning and studying the things, like the specific languages that they wanted me to know. So it was honestly like coming from the end of Techtonica with the final project and then interviews, it was like this whirlwind of activity. And then I literally had like maybe 4 weeks between Techtonica and my first day of Sony. And then that was just like time that I spent recuperating and also like learning some of the things that Sony wanted me to learn. And then when I actually came time to start, it was about, I would say like a good 3 weeks or so before things started to pick up. And I'm just now like in my oh gosh, I lost track of what week it is. I'm starting to actually contribute to like the code. So it's they definitely eased me in, but I don't know if everyone has had that experience across Sony, let alone the other companies that are the other cohort members were placed at. But thanks for that question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Camille, and thank you, Andrea. Rashonda, I'm pronouncing your name correctly?
Hi, you did.
Thank you.
I have two questions actually. So this program is 6 months of studying and study groups, and then the next 6 months is like job preparation.
Exactly.
So it's a year-long program.
Yes, exactly. You will be in Techtonica in part of the program for a year.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I will use the word like you will never leave the ecosystem of Techtonica once you are part of us. I promise you that. So be aware kind of but yes, as part of the program you will be for a year.
Okay, that's great to be in the family.
Rashonda, I want to dial into your answer there. So for the 6 months that you are considered an apprentice or a participant of Techtonica, 2 months is strictly learning new things, 2 months of that program. And then you spend about a month and a half building more things on top of the applications that you already built. You're just strictly building a bunch of full stack applications for another month and a half. And then after that, you spend 1 month building out a really big project to showcase to all your sponsors. And then another month to work those 6 months for the sponsor, just to kind of dial in that timeline.
Okay, thank you. And one more question. I was just reading up on just different boot camps and like their requirements, and some of them was stating that if you don't, well, you guys have said that if you come upon an issue during the time frame, you know, you guys are understanding, just be open to speaking on what's going on. But some of them were saying like you will be on the hook for how much the program would cost, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's pretty common with the like programs, and that's why we are very candid in this discussion about you reading your contract if you are accepting an offer, because there are financial consequences to quitting or shirking your commitment with Techtonica.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Divan, I think you're next.
Hi, yeah, I just had a question about, or I just really wanted a clarification about the requirement to have a household income that is lower than the living wage of your city. Is that for the acceptance into the program, or is that really strictly just for like, if you are in need of a stipend, like to decide if you can get a stipend or not?
Great question. I will say that it's both. So we take an account. So we really believe that everyone should learn how to code, and it's part of our mission. But we are focused on people that is low income. So if you are not in low income, we probably will answer your application with a bunch of resources that don't have that cutoff of low income. And there is a bunch of programs that have kind of partnership with us. I can speak. There is one ADA developers on Seattle that don't have that limitations. But at the same time, if you are low income, we will have, no matter what, if you part of the application process, we will have a financial conversation to see how much you will need from the stipend and how much we can actually help you. Again, the stipend by no means cover your whole life expenses. Like it doesn't, it's limited, but we will have that conversation to see, okay, we can help you probably with half of your rent. And we have situations that still people tell me, no, I can't. I need more money. So I will apply in 6 months again and be part of the process because I need to save money for these 6 months to enable to be. I know that is super hard and we work very hard to break that barrier. But the truth is that we have limited amount of sponsorships, so we cannot give money to all of you. That helps.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah,
You're welcome.
absolutely. Thank you.
Xiao, I think you're next.
Hi, Christina. I have 2 questions. Maybe my first questions repeat other participants' questions. I apologize for that, but I just want to be clear that after I submit my short form of application, I received the email saying that one of the study night is mandatory as the part of the application process. But I participate one of the study group night yesterday, but I have not submitted my long form application.
That doesn't count. You need to submit your long application. The one that counts if you submit your long application.
Okay, got it.
That's the reason we have a study group even after the deadline. Because if you submit the long application on the deadline, you still have the next Tuesday to fill out that requirement.
Okay, got it. My second question is also has also to do with the long form application. It's like I want to know because the questions are long and the questions are kind of interesting for me for like self. I was like discovering myself and thinking like retrospectively a lot. So my questions get like my answer gets very long. I want to know how how our answers assist you to make the decisions like who get into the next round so that I'll make
We
sure my answer is not too overwhelming.
we don't have a cutoff on your answer. If you want to put it there, your whole answer, the only thing that I can promise you is that I will read it. But Google Forms change their criteria all the time. So sometimes you cannot add more than 4 paragraphs. Be aware that that's not in our hands. We don't control Google Forms. I wish, definitely. And that's the reason we tell people create your application form in a document and have that information there, because Google Form do crazy things every single time. Every application cycle, I have seen different sort of characters. And I think the last time is 4 paragraph. So be aware.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Amanda, you are next.
Yes, I wanted to know if there is a certificate that we will receive when we complete the program and what it was.
Yes, great questions. It is. You will receive a certificate. And Tamia, you know what will happen for the people that live in California? I don't remember.
I think we get it right after graduation.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, you will receive a certificate that says that you completed the program. Totally.
Yep, and it says like how many hours you did for the program and the dates.
Okay, do you know what specifically the certification is? Like a certification of, or is it just certification of completion from Techtonica?
Yeah, it's just a certification of completion for Techtonica.
Okay.
But I think it's valid for people on California for something. Is that I'm not living in California? I don't remember, but I can answer. I can get that question.
It says here that if you do on the job training, you can get a certificate of apprenticeship standards that were met.
Yes,
if you
that one for people that live in California. Exactly.
Mhm.
It's valid for that. Totally. Shall you have another question? Or you just have your hand still?
Oh, I'm good. Maybe it's just by accident. I'm gonna lower hand.
Yes, I have a question in the chat about has Techtonica had neurodivergent participants and any core? Yes, in all of them, all of them. We have a lot of people with neurodivergent characteristics, and the thing that we work is communications. So they probably will communicate with the IMA and tell, I need that you give me a list of things that I need to do in the day. We have resource for people that have HD on their website. Let me find those. Because we're super intense. So if you need an extra accommodation, just let us know. We, during one core, we have even have teaching assistant that was neurodivergent, and I love them, and I miss them every single day. So yes, we can make accommodations, but you need to tell us because you are the person that knows what accommodations you will need. I cannot speak for you. So you need to be candid enough to talk to Aima or with me and say, hey, I need this accommodation. Can you help me? Probably the answer will be yes. But if you don't communicate with us, we will not know. Lucy, you have another question?
Yes, sorry, I just like jumping in before because I know if I like you are saying about regarding to like after you submit your loan application, you need to attend a study group. But if you after you submit your application, you attend a study group and you return back to add a application, do you need to do another study group afterward?
No, if
Okay.
you did your loan application, that is just a flag in our system. It's not actually a new application.
Okay,
So
I
you are
see. So I just sort of wonder if there is some system that you need to submit a final version like after, and you need to do another study group afterward. Okay,
Yep.
great. Thank you for clarifying
Thank you.
that.
Okay. Any other questions? We still have I really don't know in what time zone, and the time doesn't mean anything, but I think
40 minutes.
yeah.
I see in the chat, the program has an eligibility criteria that says have not attended full-time coding bootcamp, completed a CS degree, or worked as a software engineer in the last 6 months. I recently graduated in a computer science. So does this mean I'm not eligible? Sushmita, does that mean you have a degree in computer science?
Yes, I recently graduated with a master's degree.
If you have a master's degree in computer science, you would not be eligible for this program.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Come on, y'all, don't be shy. We don't bite. This is your time.
Bree, you are next. Sorry, you need to raise your hand if you have question, and we have Bree.
Hi. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
I was looking at the long form application and it says, what is your complete net worth? Or like the net worth verification. What if you don't have any?
You can
Is
say,
that okay?
yeah, totally.
Okay.
We have that situation all the applicants, pretty much. So you can say 0, I don't have anything. It's totally valid.
Okay.
Please raise your hand with the reactions in the Zoom if you have questions. Andrea, you have another question.
Yes, very quickly. So on the webpage, it says that if you are accepted to the program in January, January is a trial month, and the participants who work the hardest will get their place secure. So I was wondering if everyone who has already been accepted, there's a place for everyone and you just have to secure it, or there will be like a final cut still. Do I make myself like?
Yes. So the first month is kind of a trial period, and so we kind of have a conditional acceptance for everyone to make sure that you all kind of have that foundational understanding coming into the program. And if for some reason you can't make yourself get up to that foundational understanding, we might say, okay, we want you to stay in our pre-applicant pool. That way you can kind of work your way up and then try to apply for the next round of Techtonica.
Oh, but there will be enough places already for you. You just have to prove yourself like competent and committed.
Correct. So
okay.
If you've already been given that conditional acceptance into the program, you just got to do your part to stay the course.
Okay, thank you.
Please use the reactions.
Yes, please. If you have a question, please use the reactions of Zoom. So raise your hand.
Looks like Jordy, you're trying to use the reactions.
Yes, Jordi, you have a question.
Yeah, so my question was, my understanding is basically everybody could potentially be part of Techtonica, but we just have to study what we're doing, which is free code camp, and yeah, we right.
So
Well,
we serve
Is
women
that
and
it?
non-binary adults, and the curriculum that we have, if you're wanting to take a look at what that day-to-day looks like, it's on GitHub. And so we have a plethora of resources that we will outline daily and go over, not simply just free code camp. We would go over that course load, kind of tell you, hey, you need to follow this map for that day, and then you would work on that individually.
Thank you.
I have a question in the chat about what are some ways that the core participants can communicate with each other and is through messaging and Slack. Yes. So our main form on communication is our Slack channel. And you are expected to be reachable on the Slack channel. Sometimes we communicate via email. A good note to be like a good asterisk to note to all of you, we will never communicate with you via phone numbers. So if you receive a phone message in your phone about Techtonica, it's probably a scam. Please don't answer those ones. And we have some platforms that I forgetting the name, where basically people can join and hang out and share screens and do, it's very similar to Zoom, but not that heavy to Zoom. So you will be hanging out with your core all the time. And with that, Nia, I think you have a question.
Yes, I have two questions. So I'm currently in an associate's program for computer technology. I found out about Techtonica after I already applied. Does that still make me eligible for the program? Because I haven't received a degree yet.
But you are doing web development?
Yes.
No, you are not eligible. Sorry about that.
So because I'm in the program, even though I haven't received the associate's degree, that would make me ineligible?
I need to check the eligible things about. Yeah.
Nia, can you throw us a question via email just so that we can follow up on that to be sure to give you a definitive answer?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
And we need to check with the name of your program. So we need to check if you have the same stack there.
Okay, because I just started this semester, so it's only been a month since I've been in the program.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll send an email.
Let us check. Thank you so much.
Okay, and then I also
mhm.
had another question for Camille. I was just curious what a day in your life looks like in your current position. If you could walk us through that.
Sure. So I can't speak exactly about like the work that I'm doing necessarily because it's secret stuff. But I will say that my team is like primarily, everybody else is based on the West Coast. And when I was working on West Coast time with Techtonica, it made it kind of difficult for me to live my life the way that I wanted to live it. So I adjusted my hours. I start like a couple hours before they are all online because it's like 9:30 my time and it's like 6:30 their time. And then I end around 5 or 6 o'clock each day. And right now, because I'm basically like I'm an intern, I'm just doing what they tell me to do. I'm working through a specific so I work on writing tests for like an API that they use internally, which if that makes no sense to you, it will at some point. But I'm basically writing or rewriting tests right now to make them more aligned with how they want to move forward with the way they want the code to look. Sorry, words. So I usually will like get on my computer, log in everything, check my email, and then I'll get started on my work. I'll take my lunch break. I am also allowed to have like 15-minute breaks that are technically paid. So I'll take 15-minute breaks every now and again. And right now I've just started getting added to daily meetings. So there's a stand-up that happens at like 1 o'clock my time every day, which is I think 10 o'clock their time. And then every Tuesday and Thursday I have another stand-up that's like at 1:30. So I have at least one meeting every day, and then my manager that I'm that is kind of directly leading my work stream, we usually check in once a day approximately, and then I have another person that I'm like constantly pinging with questions if something that I'm working on it doesn't make sense, or I've come across a blocker or a bug that I can't figure out. And so yeah, and right now I'm working on contributing towards like the main work that my team is doing, but I also have a project that they've assigned to me that they'll want to see completed by the end of my internship. So their recommendation is that I spend about an hour to 2 hours working on the project and the rest of my day working on my work stream. Find it a little bit difficult to like switch in between the two things like that, because they're not only two completely different like projects, but they're also different languages. One is completely in Java, one is completely in Python. So I typically will dedicate like a day to work on that project, and then the rest of the week I'm working on my work stream. So yeah, that's kind of what my days are looking like right now.
Cool, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm super happy to hear that. Carmen, you have another question?
Hi. Actually, it's my turn, right? I'm already doing the free code camp. It's not as you know, it's not like a real boot camp. I'm actually about to finish the responsive web design section, and I was about to go to the JavaScript section. Would that still make me eligible? Would that make me ineligible?
Nope, don't worry, you're fine. That is not an
Okay.
actually bootcamp, and we know it. And if you are not starting the JavaScript section, you don't know anything about web development just yet, so you are good.
Would you suggest that I don't start it until I do, like, you know what I mean? Like, should I wait? Because I'm really almost done with I'm almost ready to go to the JavaScript section. That's why.
No, it's totally okay. It will
Oh,
teach you
okay.
about um a lot of good logic there, so it's totally okay.
Okay.
It's totally
Okay, great. Thank
different.
you.
If you are not getting into the
Yeah.
JavaScript, you don't know yet anything about web.
Yeah.
So in general, know how
So in
to,
general, it's okay.
yeah, it's totally okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Think those are the questions. Daima, think you agree with me? Okay, thank you so much for all of you for being here. Again, especially people in the East Coast. I know that we are very late. So thank you so much for this late hours learning about Techtonica. We really appreciate that you are here. Thank you to Camille. Thank you so much. I know that you are super busy on your current internship and you take the time to help us. So thank you again. Yeah, we will have another info session on October 14 with Women Who Code San Francisco. It will be only 1 hour, so it will not be as extensive as this one, but we will share the dates and the information in the pre-applicants channel. So if you want to know that, I would recommend that you write me and send me a very quick email telling me, hey, join me to the pre-applicant channel. I just need that email. I cannot invite you without that email for legal reasons. So you want to send me that quickly email. And with that, I let you go to the rest of your night. Amazing to see all of you, and thank you so much for being here and your patience.